We're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to Funnels and Follow-Ups, the show where we discuss your business's funnel, the way you bring in people, and what you do when you attract potential clients, and then the follow-up for prospects and the follow-up for your current clients, and even the follow-up for your dead clients. That's right, you could breathe life back into your dead clients. And we produce the show twice a week. Once a week, it's Barry and I just chitting and chatting away.
Which we like to do.
Because we like to do that. And then one of the two shows each week, the other show each week is when we interview a guest who is business to business, all about, either your funnel or your follow-up. And
it's always a resource for you.
It's always a resource for you, always a fantabulous resource for you. And today's guest is Eileen Galbraith.
Who is fantabulous.
We know her, we love her, we work with her, and she is the credit gal. She's the Chief Credit Officer at Credit Know-How. So why talk about credit? Well, business credit and finance coach Eileen positions her clients to build credit in the name of their business. And you'd be surprised. You might think you have it, but you don't. So it removes the personal liability, allows you to protect your family, protect your personal credit, grow your business, and secure the money that you need. So without further ado,
ladies and gentlemen,
Eileen Galbraith.
Hello, everyone. Yay. I am so excited to be here. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine.
Terrific, because I have lots of great info for everyone today.
Wait. We're allowing you to talk?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, let us start with this. I really want to start with this. Why is it so important to have credit in your business name and get your personal name out of it completely? Let's start with that.
That's the very first thing that I tackle when I talk with people. I get to go, and I've had the opportunity to be on stage with you guys, and I get to go to so many different events and speak with people and just let them realize that, do you think the owners of Walmart are using their personal credit cards to run that business? Heck no. They are building business and they're building the credit in the name of their business because that's the route you want to go. The biggest reason is you have to protect your family. You have to protect your business. And one of several ways to do that is to start getting credit in the name of that business, but you got to have a business entity. And we'll talk more about that.
Awesome. Catherine, ask her a question.
Well, I have personal credit. I've had personal credit since I'm 18. I built it. I had it come up. I had it go down. I had it come up. I had it go down.
And up again. Let's not forget the up again.
And up again, like you, prior to finding the love of my life, Barry, I went through a divorce and my credit got shot to some 25 years ago, and then building it back up like you did. But so that's my personal credit. I mean, I get to college, they hand me a credit card, and I've been running with it ever since. How do I build my business credit?
So there's certain steps that you want to take in building your business credit. And this show is all about funnels and follow-up. And most businesses fail for one of two reasons. And the first one is a poor management. And that's where the follow-up comes through. And the other one is the lack of funds. And that's where the business credit and getting your finances together comes through. So follow-up in making sure you have the parameters and the guidelines of what you need for the certain steps that you have to build credit in the name of your business. You're building the foundation. You're going to start with being a business owner. You have to have an entity to do this. If you're a sole proprietor, you are doing your family a disjustice. You're doing your business harm. And we want to make sure that you get that entity structure put into place first, because that's how you're going to start building credit in the name of your business. The biggest reason for doing that, if somebody comes and sues your business and you're a sole proprietor, guess what? They're coming after your home. They're coming after you.
Very true.
When you have the business credit built in just the name of your business, it's the business that has to worry about it. not the personal owner, not the personal home, the auto, the finances.
And now here's what I think is a lot of fun, because I've seen you do this before. You ask people to pull out their business credit card, because everybody says they have their credit card in their business name. Because look on the card, it has my business name right there.
Yep.
Is that
Yep.
their business credit?
So that's my little parlor trick when I'm speaking on stage. and I'm not amazed, but I'm a little surprised at how many people come up to me afterwards when I'm done talking that say, well, wait a minute, I went to my bank and I said I wanted a business credit card in the name of my business, and they gave me this and everything's fine, and I don't understand. And I said, well, if it's on your personal credit report, it's not a business credit card. It's a card you're using for your business, and it may have your name on there, your business name, your personal name. But if it's showing up on your personal credit report, it is doing you more harm than good. First of all, you're losing out on tax benefits because you want to have your finances totally separate. Don't commingle those things. Keep your personal life, exactly. Keep your personal life personal, keep your business life with your business. So unfortunately, there's probably about 98% of entrepreneurs that don't even know that business credit exists. And of course, they won't know if it doesn't exist. They won't know how to go in and get it.
Great.
That's what I do for them.
Well, now that you're on this show, at least 95% of the business owners out there will know, because they all watch and listen to the show.
That's right.
Exciting. That's so exciting.
That's right.
That's my mission. You guys know me. I'm so passionate about helping people to figure this stuff out. And it's so much easier to do than what people would think. Oh my gosh, you just have to know the steps. You guys are all about systems. There's a system to build a foundation to get your business credit done.
Yeah,
it takes time.
We had no idea. After we started talking to you for a little bit, and we've known you for a while. And now Catherine said, why haven't we been building credit for the business? And and now she's on a roll. Starting to work it, starting to make it happen.
That's right.
And,
yes,
working with you, the real questions get answered. That's really what
absolutely. That's the biggest thing about me. I want to make sure. I've learned a lot over the past 5-6 years, and as Kat was talking about earlier, I started this credit journey. I have 42 years of retail behind me. Never thought I was going to be in the world of credit and finances, but I started this journey because I went through a personal crisis after a divorce, and I had to deal with how to recover my credit. And as I began to do that, I started building the business because people heard what I was doing, and they're like, Eileen, you can make money doing that. I'm like, really? So I educated myself. I got all the certifications I needed. I'm Fico Pro certified. I did what I needed to do. And now it's my mission to make sure entrepreneurs protect their personal world from their business world and get that credit built. You guys know how passionate I am about this.
Oh, yes, very, very, very much so. And passionate to the incredible help of every one of your clients, everyone that you talk to, everyone that you work with. You are so amazing at getting them up and running, getting them rocking and rolling. So what are the common mistakes that businesses are making right now in building their business credit?
Well, the first one we touched base on, and that's thinking that you have a credit card in the name of your business when it's really showing up on your personal side. And I encourage everyone to do this now. Look, and 4 times a year, you should be getting a copy of your personal credit report. You can do that through annualcreditreport.com. Actually, 3 times a year. There's 3 credit reporting agencies. And every 4 months, I will go and get one of them for free and see what's on my credit report. Now, I personally am in a monitoring service to do that, so I get a monthly update. But annualcreditreport.com is a free resource to get a copy of your personal credit report. It doesn't hurt your credit report. It's not considered an inquiry. Go and get that. I urge everybody to do that. January is right around the corner. Start the new year off right, but know what's on that personal side. So The biggest mistake is not knowing what's in your personal credit report. The other one we touched on is having that business credit card. Is it really in the name of your business?
Okay. So, so somebody may be listening to this show in March of, 2065 or whatever. Let's just say whenever you hear this show, go to Barry. Can you put that website up again, please?
Absolutely. And it's in the comments as well. If you're watching us either on Facebook or YouTube, it's in the comments. But here is annualcreditreport.com. For those of you listening to the podcast, it's annualcreditreport.com. So wherever you are in the year, go there, get your first credit report. 4 months later, right? 3 times a year. 4 months later, go get the next one. 4 months later, go get the next one. And for those of you who don't remember or don't know, it's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. There we go.
Right. Those are the 3 for the personal side. They're different on the business side.
That's not business. That's personal. So tell us about the business side, Eileen.
So the business side, I'm sure most of the listeners will be familiar with a company called Dun & Bradstreet. Their website is dnb.com. So Dun & Bradstreet is the #1 supplier for business credit profiles in the world, not just in the United States, in the world. If you're looking to apply for credit anywhere, that lender is going to pull your business credit profile from that company first. Experian and Equifax Business also have business credit profiles for your businesses, totally separate from your personal world. However, most will not know whether they even have a business credit report. And many people, when they are in business, they don't realize how important it is to have that business credit report. And the system that I take people through, I have a 10-step system that gets you started with building the foundation. The very first thing we talked about earlier is getting that entity set up. Get your business structure set up. You're going to get an EIN, an employee identification number. That's the number we use to start building your credit in the name of your business.
Yep.
And the second biggest thing, I'm going to give you 3 little pointers here. The second biggest thing is after you have that EIN, go open up your business checking account. The underwriting guidelines, they consider your business started the day you started your checking account, not the day you incorporated.
Yeah.
That's a biggie. Because I waited 2 years before I opened up my business checking account. So I kind of lost 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, ow.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny when we've had a number of entities over the years, and that for whatever reason, I don't know if it was just instinct, but that's the first thing we did as soon as we got the EIN. Open a bank account.
Yep.
And my thought is, well, you need to put the money someplace that you're collecting from clients and customers.
Yeah.
The checking account seems a smart place to put it.
Well, it makes total sense, and that's when you don't want to commingle your funds. Getting back to Kat, we talked about the business credit card, and Barry about it, whether your name is on there and your business name. If you're using that for your business and it shows up on your personal credit report, please make sure you are only using it for business expenses, because you can use that during tax time. But you have to not commingle those funds. You cannot use that card if you have it designated for business. You cannot use that for your personal.
Well, you can. You'll just wind up getting screwed later on down the road.
Don't do it. Just no.
Yeah, that's a giant no. And something else, and this is Barry and I personally, and Eileen, I don't know if you recommend this, but when you're doing your your bank accounts in general. And again, this is kind of personal, but when you're doing your bank accounts in general, first, we like to go to local banks, and there are a ton of local banks around. And to me, they seem a lot more flexible. But the second thing that that I'd like to advise everyone is when you walk into the bank, shake the hand of, look into the eye of the bank manager, find out who some banks have a business manager or a specific business person. Look them in the eye. Every once in a while, walk into your local bank. There's a bazillion Chases around. There's a bazillion Citibanks around. There's a bazillion Bank of Americas around if you use the big banks. Here in Phoenix, we use Desert Financial, and all through Arizona, we can turn around pretty much anywhere, and we've got a Desert Financial. But what we do is we walk in, even if it's just once a month, walk in and say hello. Mm-hmm. Because Eileen, when we started this process with you, and we were doing everything that you told us to do, that you tell your clients to do, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But when we did that, I called up the bank, and it just so happened that the bank was at a local fair beforehand. I called up the bank, and they were, "Oh, Catherine, Barry, hi, how are you? Oh, yes, absolutely. We can do this for you." And, it was done over the phone. It was so smooth sailing because they know us, because we walk into the bank.
Exactly. Well, as entrepreneurs, we build our businesses based on the relationships that we built.
Yep.
So when people get to know, like, and trust you, everybody's heard that phrase. Why wouldn't you build that relationship with your finance people, with your bank?
Absolutely.
It just makes total sense, because people will do things for you when they get to know you. They're more apt to. If you're a total stranger and you walk in and you say, "Hey, I need this, that, and the other," they're going to give you the standard, "Sorry, can't happen," because banks will do that. Almost all the time, you can go into your local bank, as you're talking about. Yeah. If you have that relationship and say, "Listen, here's my articles of incorporation. Here's my bylaws if your state requires it." I believe Arizona does. Or California. Here are the documents you need. I would like to open up a business credit card in the name of my business. They get to know you. They're going to do that, no problem, because they trust the person that you are. You have that relationship already. They can see your financials coming and going throughout your accounts. Just have that relationship. Walk in and talk to that banker. Get to know your business banking manager.
Absolutely. And bring them cookies. Every now and then, bring cookies. They love cookies.
That's the relationship. When you go and visit somebody and you walk into their home, you usually take something with you, right?
Yeah. I was just invited with me.
Exactly. I was just invited to a Christmas party at the end of the year, and I asked the host, "So what would you like me to bring?" "Oh, just bring yourself." No, I can't do that. I have to bring something.
That's right.
It's a natural thing for humans to do. That's the relationship.
So when people are working with you, because you're giving a lot of tips here for people to build their credit. So why would somebody hire you?
Mostly it's because of my personality. I am
absolutely
no BS. I will tell you like it is. I will not put you in harm's way. I do a lot of financing for people, and one of the first things that I will ask them, or I will do for them in our initial consultation, I do a financial cash flow for them to see where they are, because I don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. If you're this close to filing a bankruptcy, you are not going to be told to buy a coaching program. It's not the right time for you. So we do that whole financial forecast for you to see where you are. And then we get into the next steps. And I have it's basically 10 steps. And every time you hear a step-by-step program, there's always mini steps in between.
Yes.
The 10 steps are the highlights of the thing to get things done. And then we go through each step and we say, okay, get your entity. That's number 1. Get your checking account. That's number 2. And then we move on to make sure that I'm a logical, linear person, step by step. I get it done.
Yes, we've seen that many times. Absolutely. You need step by step, where other people just, let's go. Let me get from A to Z without going through B, C, D, E, F. Yeah.
Well, for me, the building, it's a foundational piece. Just like you're building a house, we've all heard of that analogy. You have to build a foundation first, and it has to be a solid foundation in order for you to build on top of that. The same thing with building your business credit. When you guys started building your personal credit, it didn't happen overnight. You went out and you had to do step 1 first. You got the credit card. Step 2, you used it properly, hopefully. Some do, some don't. There's 5 factors that are involved in building that credit score for you. And if you know how to utilize it the right way, you can have a very high 800 FICO credit score. Same with business. If you know how you're using your business credit cards, once you start to receive them, you're going to be fine.
And you'll have the financing to expand your business, to go and purchase that coaching program. You'll have the financing to go and purchase that new piece of equipment, to expand, to buy a building, to do whatever it is that you need to do as you build your credit right now.
Yep.
In this moment.
And you're doing it without risking your personal property.
Huge.
Really.
Exactly. That is the biggest point. Now, there's some people, I work with many different types of individuals when they're in their business. I have some clients that are just starting their business, so we work on that to build. And it could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to be starting to get the business credit going the right way. Some people can do it very quickly because they have the financials. They've been in business for more than 2 years. They can show their bank statements. We can move them through a little bit faster. But most people, if they're just starting out, we want to make sure that it all starts with your personal credit, because even if you go into your bank and you ask for that business credit card, they're still going to want your social security number, because they still want to see the risk factor of the individual that owns the business. But that doesn't mean it's going to go on your personal reports. It's going to go on your business credit profile. So there's so many different things involved with it.
Yeah, and I know that was a question that we had when we were doing this, because Catherine's like, no, it should just be in my EIN. It should and it was a matter of understanding that they need your social security just basically as a background check, for lack of a better term.
Correct. You're the business owner, and they want to see the status of the business owner.
Right.
But everything, when it's done correctly on the application, everything goes under the EIN and goes under the name of the business.
Well, that leads to an interesting point then. If you're a corporation, and some states, corporations, you can't even find who the owners are. You can't find who the shareholders are, only because the state doesn't release it. How does that work? Would you still need your social security and the personal?
In the case of business credit is also known as corporate credit. And there are bankers. I was just talking to a banker the other day that somebody referred to me, one of my clients. The bankers are saying, well, you can't get business credit in the name of your business. You're not a corporation. You're not a big, 3 million and up earner. So you can't get that. And I had to enlighten them. And this is the vice president of business banking at this bank. I had to enlighten them as to how you can do it. And he was floored. And now he's sending me clients, but he was totally floored because their bank won't let me do that.
You said that so nicely. I enlightened him.
I enlightened him.
Okay, so let's.
I don't know if I answered Barry's question about the corporate credit. If you're involved with someone that has corporate credit and they have employees, the employees can get the business credit card under the name of the corporation. I don't know if that was something that we were leaning towards.
It wasn't, but that's good to know also.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
So I want to step back. Now, Eileen, you said this was the vice president
Business banking.
of business banking of a bank, big or small.
Major
Bank.
Major bank. Okay, so the vice president of business banking of a big, large, major bank did not know that your average LLC, your average S Corp, and when I say average, I mean Barry and I are an LLC, and eventually we may have to be an S Corp, we may have to be a C Corp, depending on what our account.
the volume.
Pardon?
Right. It depends on the volume of your business.
Right. And it depends on what your accountant, your CPA, your EA tells you, your business credit coach tells you. So it's Barry and I can get a business credit card. In fact, we did, based on being coached by Eileen. We strongly advise it. We strongly advise it. But let me repeat this. The vice president of business banking of a major bank did not know this. So you guys are going out there doing the best you can with your business, thinking to yourself, my bank told me I can't. Your bank is, Eileen, if they tell you can't?
I don't believe in the comment, no, we can't do it. There's always a way to do something. You know the phrase, and I actually have been saying this for decades, and it finally became popular by who knows else. You don't know what you don't know. That's why the name of my company is called Credit Know-How, because you need to know how to understand the aspects of the credit and how it all works. If you don't know the questions to ask the banker, you're not going to get the response that you want. And that's true with anything. If you don't, I just had a situation with the airlines where I booked the airline incorrectly and they weren't going to change it for me. And I don't take no for an answer. There's always a way. And that's my retailing. There's always a way to make something happen.
Yeah.
But you need to know the questions to ask.
And you're going to
get the response.
And you're going to get those questions working with Eileen. I mean, you're absolutely going to get the questions. You're going to get the answers. You're going to get, when your bank says, oh, we can't do it, you're going to get Eileen on the phone with the bank saying, dude, they might have elevated you to this position, but you don't know everything, do you? Because you're kind of wrong on this. And Eileen is very sweet about these things. Eileen is very sweet and kind and gentle.
Opposite of Catherine.
Opposite of Catherine, where I'm like, dude, you're flipping wrong, dude. I mean, how did you get this position? But, yet another reason why to work with Eileen, to work with a credit coach.
I like to enlighten people. That's my kind way of doing it.
Yeah, Catherine's enlightenment is with a 2x4.
That's right.
Exactly. Sometimes they need that.
Sometimes.
So, this brings up the question. We all have our social security numbers, right? And we're now told, don't put your social security number here. Don't put your social security number there. Now, like the other day, I had to go to the doctor's office and it said social security number. And then in parentheses, it said optional. Now, until Barry told me this not that long ago, I did not know it was optional not to give my doctor my social security number, but that's a whole nother, thing. So
what
now
does he need it for?
Yeah.
Why do they need it?
They need it in case you don't pay your bill. They know what credit to go after, what credit reports.
Yeah. Don't give your social.
Yeah. Doctors don't need it.
Very, very, very stringent with that.
Yeah. Who knew? And I always thought that that's how they connected all, as you get older, you get more doctors, and that's how I thought they connected them. Anyway, so here I am, here's my social security number, and I've got it protected, and I've got a locking key around it and everything. And now I've got this EIN number. Can they screw me with the EIN number? Can somebody?
So, is there identity theft with business identities? Of course there are. Everything, a thief's going to do what a thief's going to do. They're going to figure out a way to do it. So I mentioned earlier that I have monitoring services. I have one for my personal and I have one for my business. And I truly believe in knowing your numbers, knowing what's going on in your accounts. And that means knowing what's in your credit profiles, both personal and business. And when I work with my clients and we start to build their business credit profile, they go through my system. They're able to access their business credit profile every month. That way they can see what's going on. They can access their personal credit, and we can make sure everything's staying separate. So yes, is it important to have some kind of identity theft protection in place? Absolutely. And I believe Barry and Kat, you offer something like that too with some of your programs.
Right. With we offer Legal Shield, and every business owner should have Legal Shield. not being a commercial for Legal Shield, but freaking get it. And we're reps if you need that. If you know somebody, your next door neighbor probably sells Legal Shield. If you don't know your next door neighbor who sells Legal Shield, call us. But
yeah, it's a perfect way to do that, because then you have access. If something shows up on your credit reports and you're just like, what's going on there? You have access to me. I am a very big resource for you to help you figure that out. And going with Legal Shield, you have access to a lawyer. I mean, come on.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Eileen knows absolutely everything about everything you need to know about your credit and your business credit and how to create that and how to do that. Here's another question. If I have, long before we met you, we effed up our personal credit because we thought, we'll use this credit card for business, and it's a credit card in our name, but we used it for business anyway. So can I eventually take that money and put it into a business credit card? And
Absolutely. I had a young lady who was actually, I think, the beginning of this year, and that was her question. I have all this credit that I'm using on my personal side, and I want to open up business credit cards. I'm like, terrific, let's do it. So after we did her evaluation, we got her in the program, we were able to open up 2 business credit cards for her, transferred all of that because she had it. This is where it goes back to what I said earlier. If you're going to use a personal credit card for your business, keep it separate.
Right.
Because now she could verify that all of this information, all of this money was used in her business, and we were able to put all of that into a 0% interest credit card. I think it was 18 months that she has.
Wow.
Transfer that. And you know what it did? And we weren't even looking to do this because she had a great credit score to begin with. It raised her credit score 74 points.
Wow.
Because we took it off of her personal side. Makes sense. If you know those 5 factors and what you need to do on your personal credit, you can make it happen.
Amazing.
Yes. We were thrilled with that. I was like very excited when I saw that. I'm like, 74 points. We weren't even trying to do it.
Look, you have a new case study to put on your website.
Exactly.
And by the by, everyone out there, if you're thinking, well, I just, I worked with Eileen, I opened up my business credit cards. I moved everything over that was, business related. Yeah, my personal credit score popped up, 50 points, 70 points, whatever is a good amount of points. I mean, really, with your personal credit. And you think, well, big deal. I don't need to borrow anything on my personal card anymore. Not just for borrowing. That high credit score is not just for borrowing. That high credit score may lower your insurance rates.
Yeah.
That high credit score may enable you to refinance at a way better rate your mortgage.
Yeah.
That high credit score, if you were just starting your entrepreneurial journey and you just want to have a side gig and you really love your career and you are looking to get a job, and I don't spell it out because whatever you choose to do to earn income is up to you. But if you're out there, as long as
it's legal.
As long as, I even say as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. But anyway, even if you love your career, you absolutely adore your career. Did you know that your personal credit score could affect your career and whether or not somebody hires you?
Absolutely. There's so many things that when I first work with a client, the very first thing we do is a credit analysis. And we spend 2 hours on the phone going line by line through their credit reports. I explain to them the 5 main factors that make up your FICO credit score on your personal side and why it's important to know these and how to utilize it properly to keep your scores up. Credit. The biggest thing on personal credit, 35% of your score is how you pay your bills. So just pay them on time.
Yeah.
And or stay high. The second part is 30% of your credit score is how much of the credit that you have available you actually use. It's called credit utilization. So if you're above 30%, it's going to lower your score. So stay under that 30%. And you want to learn a tip?
Yes, please.
Those people think that if they pay their balances in full every single month, that their credit score is going to be high. Do you know that actually lowers your credit score? Do you want to know why?
Yes,
The credit
I am
card companies are
confused.
not earning, wait, the credit card companies are not earning interest from you. Therefore, they have no reason to give you a credit card because they're not going to make anything off of you.
That is true. And a credit score is based on how you use your credit. Even though you're paying it off every month, they can't determine the risk factor. So they lower your scores. Even if you only keep $10 a month on your cards, it's better than being at zero. I know it's crazy, but that's just how the scoring model works.
That's just crazy talk, Eileen.
I know. I was flabbergasted when I was going through all my training, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It actually does.
Wow. Incredible.
So there's other factors that involve with your score, but what Kat's talking about is you need your FICO score, at least have it at 680 or above. It goes from 300 to 850. Have it above 680 because it's used for when you get that cell phone, when you get your insurance for your vehicles, when you get your insurance for your home, when you get your utilities for your home. Do you know that people that have a lower credit score pay more in utilities in their electric bill? How crazy is that?
That is nuts.
Yep. It's based on that. Your medical, everything is based on that credit score number. Now, do you want to hear a beautiful thing about business credit?
Yes, please.
Business credit score is based on one factor. One, how you pay your bill. Pay it on time and you have a Dun & Bradstreet credit reporting of 80 or above. They only go from 0 to 100, so it's much more simplified. 80 or above and you're fine. That's all you have to worry about on the business side.
That's huge. That really is huge because I guess just like your regular FICO score, the more you use the credit, the more your score is going to go up and the easier it is to get more funding if you need it, whatever.
Exactly. And that's the basis of all of this. Like Kat was just saying earlier, if you want to get a better mortgage rate, I mean, when the rates go down, you want to try to refinance because it just makes more sense. You're saving more money. Why give them the interest when you don't have to have it? And your FICO score is a big determinant of what you're going to get. Yeah. So just make it happen.
And then you're Dun & Bradstreet, your D&B scores are going to.
It's called a Paydex score.
It's a it's a Paydex.
Paydex. It's called a Paydex.
Paydex
score.
And that's going to help you. So, your business expands and you want to buy a building and you want to hire more people and you want whatever it is, you've got the ability to get the credit to do that, to expand. Which brings up another question. I need more money to run my business. Can you help me?
I sure can. It's just a matter of an application. Again, the first thing I look at is the personal credit of the individual, because there's 3 ways that you can get funding for your business. We call them the 3 C's. The first way is through your credit, your personal credit. If you have a 680 or above and there's other factors, it's easy to get funding that way. And that's for people who are just starting out with their businesses. They don't really have a business profile set up yet. The next way is cash. If you have been in business for more than 2 years and you can show financials, your cash financials of money going in and out of your bank, that's another way that we look at it. And the third way is collateral. If you have been in business for a while and you have any kind of machinery or any type of valuable collateral that you can use, we can get you funding that way too.
Okay, so you can get funding for the business. You can help people build their business, not affect their personal credit, not put their home at risk, not put their car at risk, not put their lives at risk in jeopardy. I have a side gig. I'm not really doing. I make enough money in my little side business. I'm driving for Uber. I'm driving for Lyft. I'm selling cosmetics. Should I be concerned about any of this?
Get incorporated. Whatever side gig you're doing. If you're a sole proprietor, you're still doing it as a hobby, and that's a beautiful thing. However, if you want to maximize on whether you have future financial fundability, if you want to maximize on tax benefits, and if you want to maximize on protecting your personal self, your family, your assets, you want to be incorporated in some fashion. Be an LLC, get incorporated, get that entity structure set up. Even if it's part-time, if you're doing it 10 hours a week.
So whatever you're doing, keep it separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And I'm going to say, especially if you're doing the Uber Lyft thing, because something happens, man, you could lose everything. And make sure.
Well, they in Uber, I know that, or at least I know in Lyft, they have a protection in there for the drivers too. However, if you can go in as a person that has a business entity and get hired as the business entity rather than just, as a contractor, rather than just as an individual, I would pursue that.
Now here's the thing, because people say, well, they don't want to put a company name on an application. Well, you know what? I can create an entity, Barry Cohen LLC.
Yes, you can.
And there you go. Done.
You can.
Absolutely.
And then you use, instead of the social security number, you use the EIN.
Right. And the thing that I am very big on, and again, I'll use the word passion because I'm just passionate about it. I had to figure all this stuff out myself. You guys don't have to. You got me. I'm the resource. Let's get this done together. There are steps that you need to take, and they're very basic, and they're easy to do. They just take some time. Like I said, building your personal credit took some time. Building your business credit will take some time also. But let's get you started.
And I understand
let's get those foundations done.
Yeah, I understand that you do have a free offer for our viewing and listening audience. Would you like to tell them what it is?
I do. I have, it's just a quick guide that actually will explain a lot of what we just talked about, and it's in the process. It's a step-by-step way of doing it. You can take this guide and do this all on your own. If you follow it step by step, trust me, you're not going to want to, because you might not know the questions to ask to get the results that you want to get. That's why I'm your resource. I'm your guide in that. Yeah.
So I'm going to say to everyone, download it. It's free. Download it. It's free. And take a look at it. Start to understand the complexity of this. It is a complicated thing. It is an absolutely complicated thing. And you know what? You need to start to understand it. But if you've worked with Barry and I at any level, if you've been to any of our talks, if you've listened to us, we talk about something called TEDS, your talent, your experience, your desires, and your skills, which determine what is yours to do and what is not yours to do. Okay.
This is not yours to do.
Understand it from a 35,000 foot level of, okay, I need to do this. This needs to happen. And this is why it needs to happen. So definitely get that free offer. Understand this is what needs to happen. And then this is, Barry said it absolutely, this is not yours to do. Absolutely. Even if, I'm going to put it out there, even if you're an accountant, even if you're a CPA, even if you're a bookkeeper, even if you're an EA, this part, going through and knowing all this stuff, is not yours to do. Going out there and getting your clients is. So, Eileen, how do I work with you? How do my listeners work with you?
So it's funny that you say that. See, I have several clients that are CPAs for that exact reason. I have a lot of mentors in my life. I have 3 main coaches, and these are high-end coaches. One is all on the finance end. The other one is in my business credit. And the other one is a speaking coach, as you well know. And the reason that I hired these 3 individuals was because I didn't know how to do what I need to have, but they did. They are my coaches. They show me, they guide me. I work with them. Gosh, every other week I'm talking to somebody. And now I have the 2 of you that are helping me with my follow-up, because you know what, you as entrepreneurs, we lose a lot of money. Yes, I will talk about that for a second, but we lose a lot of money when we don't follow up with the people who really need our services. we leave them on the sidelines, and it's not good. So that follow-up system is so important. And you guys are helping me with that because, as you know, I speak so much. I've got a lot of people coming to me. And the beautiful thing about that is when you work with me, like I said, I'm no nonsense. I will love you into the next step. I will make sure that you are protected because I don't believe in putting anybody in jeopardy when it comes to their finances. Been there, done that, won't put you through it.
Absolutely. So Barry just pointed out something to me. I always forget we start this out, as a video, and then we put it on our podcast. So it is www.thecreditgal.biz, thecreditgal.biz/OBC. So
and that OBC stands for Official Business Credit.
I love it. Official
business credit. So thecreditgal.biz, BIZ/OBC official business credit. Now that's for your freebie. Tell us about, Eileen, I looked at the freebie. I'm like, yeah, Barry and Catherine are right. Eileen is right. I need to work with her. Boom. How do they do it?
So you get on my schedule. That's the very first thing we do. And it's the same thing with the creditgal.biz/schedule.
Easy peasy.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, we do a 30-minute conversation just to see where you are, put you in the right spot. Because, as you two know, as business owners, everyone's situation is going to be different. Everybody's personal credit is totally different than the next person.
Yeah.
Because we all use our credit differently. And the 30-minute conversation is going to be you getting to know me a little more, me getting to know what your goals and aspirations are, and then we go to the next step. And that next step is, okay, this is what I have available. This is where you fit because I have 3 different services. If it's just a matter of I do personal credit repair, if somebody just needs some things cleaned up on their credit, we do that. If somebody wants to start getting those business credit cards and the funding, we get the application started, and that application is free, by the way. Anybody on this call listening to this can do a free application to see what they qualify for. However, I will make sure that you're pre-qualified before you do that because there's no sense trying to investigate something if I already can see what we need to correct or what we need to establish.
So that is thecreditgal.biz/schedule to get on her schedule. And if you forget all of this, just go to thecreditgal.biz and get in touch with Eileen and she'll send you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And remember, this is not yours to do.
No.
This is why people like Eileen exist, to take care of the stuff that you don't need to spend time on. You need to spend time on your business. Eileen's going to help you get that business credit so you can do even more.
That's right.
I have to share this with your audience. So when I first met Kat and Barry, I'm a dancer. I'm high energy. I love people. I love being around people. And I just have a good old time when I'm out there. And when I told them what I did, they were like, what? What are you doing in credit and finance? It's just not the category they saw me in because I just love people so much. And I'm just out there. And I just I'm a numbers person. I always have been. I actually, before I started my life, I wanted to become a mathematician. I wanted to go to school for math and teach math and be a math teacher. And instead, I fell into the retail arena, and that was my life for 42 years. It wasn't until I had to go through something, some transformation, that I realized I love numbers and I love helping people see what they don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's where when I say I'm passionate about it, I like doing the cash flows. My favorite thing in retail was going into my stores and looking at the P&L statements, the profit and loss statements.
Yep.
And I could tell you by looking at those statements how you're losing money. Like, no, we need to change some things up.
Right. And and Eileen said it, and having grown up in retail, she wasn't in, audience, please understand, Eileen wasn't in retail for 42 years. Eileen was successful in retail for 42 years. There's a huge difference. I know. my family was in retail my whole life. So, she was successful and made all of her stores successful in retail for 42 years. So when you're talking about numbers, when you're talking about cash flow, when you're talking about making your business successful without risking the things that you built personally, Eileen is your person. So please, 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 www.thecreditgal.biz/schedule. Spend a little time with Eileen, get to know her, have her get to know your situation so that you know what to do next. You can do what needs to be done next. Let her do all of the footwork, all of the research. She's got it all done. Don't you do the research. Just please go to Eileen. Hire Eileen. Eileen Galbraith is your gal. Thecreditgal.biz. Any last words? Any last?
No, I just appreciate you two so much. You bring so much into my world, and I am very blessed that in this year that I got to meet you guys in the beginning of the year, and I just look forward to continued collaborations. And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being there. And Eileen, you've said something, from stage and to us and whatever. You can't unlearn something.
No, you can't.
You cannot unlearn everything that you just heard. All this information about, your personal credit versus your business credit and all this stuff. So you know it. Now do something about it. Move forward in the right direction. This is part of the funnel. You can't get that funnel built. You can't go out and do the ads if that's what your funnel requires. You can't go out and do the speaking engagements if that's what your funnel requires, if you don't have the money to do it. And if you are putting it on your personal credit card, stop. Stop doing that, please, and talk to Eileen. So
let's get you positioned where you can utilize both the personal and the business credit properly, so you're protecting yourself, your family, your assets.
Absolutely. So to everyone, thank you so much for listening. We hope you got a lot. I know I did. Every time I speak to you, Eileen, get a lot of tremendous information out of this. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.